G'day guys, Carl Jocumsen here, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my 2016 year. I've had a bad start, and then I had 3 checks in a row, and a massive confidence builder for me was the Norfolk Bull Shoals event. And this year, it's my first year with Molex lures. The guys have been great, and they got some of their best baits in my hands and said, just use them and let us know what you think. And you know, the best one so far when I saw it swim was the Molex Sculpo. It's like a, you know, it's that bit deeper crankbait that will work really well, super shallow, but it also gets that little bit deeper than the rest for that rip-rap, rock wall style fishing, paralleling the bank. And I absolutely murdered them at Norfolk and at Bull Shoals. So made my second top 50, you know, got myself right up there. And this bait, I'll show you some new ones, but a couple of the ones that I used through they have just been absolutely beaten up. And I've changed the hooks over on a couple of them for my tournament ones, but there's a couple things that I like to do, but these ones have just been absolutely beat to death. And the biggest thing that you'll see with this with the Sculpo is it is the #1 hunting lure I've ever seen. This thing hunts. It has so much movement across the bottom. When you're looking at it, it's almost mesmerizing, because as it's hitting the bottom, it's just crawling. It's not, the biggest thing you don't want a lure to do is just move and track straight forward, especially when it's hitting the bottom. And this thing just deflects and crawls no matter what the structure is on the bottom, and that's what makes it so good. When it does erratic movements and moves all over the floor, that's what creates a reaction bite. I have a little bit smaller treble in the middle, and I have a bigger one at the back. That's what I like to change it to, and that's what seems to get me the best hookup rate, best bites, and those little crawlers on the front. And you know, a big thing that I do, and this one's still left on, is I put a little snap clip on there. And a lot of people don't like a snap clip, but if you look what that does, that snap puts it just past the bill. So when you're crawling across rocks and stuff all the time, this becomes rough, it becomes sharp, and it starts rubbing against your line. And I'm using 10-pound fluorocarbon when I'm throwing this bait. So that snap not only gives it an extra hinge to move, and when you hook a fish, an extra hinge, it also stops that bill rubbing on your line. So that is a huge thing when it comes to throwing a shallow water crankbait. But there's my Molex box right there, and they've given me, this is like my medium to shallow depth Molex crankbait box. This lure just gets bigger bites. It's a little bit bigger than the average you know, lure for that sort of depth. And I've got your little suspended jerk baits, I've got square bills, I've got 10-foot flat-sided divers, but the Molex Sculpo is definitely my favorite by far.